She cooks, cleans, does gymnastics, and now come to find out her family rich. I mean, Tulsi, how do you keep making yourself even more attractive, huh? How do you keep doing this? This is insane. Like, the fact that the establishment hates her so much, the fact that she's anti-war and really wants to bring us all together, and now the fact that she's going after the Google and big tech for shutting her down. I mean, my God, woman, let's stop getting better. I can't handle all this amazingness, okay? I just can't. Oh my goodness. So we got this coming to us from Fox News. Tulsi Gabbard sues Google, alleging election interference after Dem debate. This is written by Greg Ree. Now, there's a 3-minute clip here, and this is directly after the debate. Now, I'll give you guys a quick TLDR. After the first debate, everybody sees what I see. They're like, oh, she bad. So what they do, they go to Google her. And instead of sending them to her website, which she had set up, because, you know, I mean, it's pretty obvious once people hear her platform, they're definitely going to be into her and check it out. And so she paid to have them, make sure that her website was number one. Google, being the slick D-bags that they are, decided, no, we're going to knock that on off. And it cost her some money, and it cost her a lot of exposure. But this is her with Tucker Carlson, so let's get into this right here.
Number of online polls, you had the most Google searches, your name after the debate. You got some of the fewest minutes to speak of any of the 10 candidates on stage, and you were the only one who was essentially attacked personally by the moderators. Why do you think that was?
Look, it shows that there's a clear bias in place. I made the most of every minute that I had. Wish I had the opportunity to have more time to address these important issues. But I want to just point out something from that clip that you played that I think is really important, where we hear a lot of politicians say this same argument that, well, we've got to stay engaged in the world, otherwise we'll be isolationists, as though the only way the United States can engage with other countries is by blowing them up or strangling them with economic sanctions, by smashing them and trying to overthrow their governments. This is exactly what's wrong with this whole premise and the whole view with which too many politicians, too many leaders in this country are viewing the United States' role in the world. How about the United States be a leader in the world, work out differences and build relationships with negotiations and diplomacy and finding common interests and seeing how we can work together so that we can stop sending our men and women in uniform into harm.
Oh, man, just fantastic, isn't it? Now, let's get into the article. That was her directly after election night. And I think that's one of the reasons it was a primer onto this. So let's go. Democratic presidential contender Tulsi Gabbard announced Thursday that she is suing Google for alleged election interference, claiming the tech giant suspended her campaign Google Ads account after the first Democratic presidential primary debate. Gabbard, a military veteran and congresswoman from Hawaii, is an outsider candidate who has often been at odds with her fellow progressives. I can't help but feel like Fox is using progressives as a blanket term for the Dem Party, but that's to frame the Dem Party as Ilhan Omar's and AOC's, when in all reality, Tulsi bucked up at them. She bucked up at the establishment when she saw what happened to Bernie Sanders. And it's one of the reasons I'm 130% into her campaign, guys. Conservatives have long charged that Google discriminates against conservatives, and the Justice Department on Tuesday announced a sweeping antitrust review into large technology companies. Google's discriminatory actions against my campaigns are reflective of how dangerous their complete dominance over internet search is, and how the increasing dominance of big tech companies over our public discourse threatens our core American values, Gabbard said in a statement. This is a threat to free speech, fair elections, and to our democracy, and I intend to fight back on behalf of all Americans. Go get 'em, girl! Go get 'em! Specifically, Gabbard claimed that multiple news reports indicated that she was the most searched candidate on Google following the first Democratic primary debate on June 26. Then, without any explanation, Google suspended Tulsi's Google Ads account. Her office said in a statement that called the move arbitrary and capricious. Big tech's dominance represents a clear and present danger to our democracy, Gabbard's team said. This is a threat to free speech, fair elections, and our democracy. And you know what? Like, they're sitting there crying and complaining about Russia, more Russia. Oh, we gotta have that Mueller report based off the whole Russian thing. And it's just like, bruh, stop. In a statement to Fox News, Google acknowledged that Gabbard's account had been suspended by its internal system, but denied Gabbard's charges. We have automated systems that flag unusual activity on all advertiser accounts, including large spending changes, in order to prevent fraud and protect our custody. Oh, that is so weak, a Google spokesperson said. In this case, our system triggered a suspension and the account was reinstated shortly thereafter. We are proud to offer ad products that help campaigns connect directly with voters, and we do so without bias towards any party or political ideology. Yeah, you gotta smell the nonsense on that one. I mean, the mere fact that she's anti-war and she's anti-establishment, and the Google basically is the establishment search engine at this point, it goes hand in hand. It's so hard to deny that. Earlier this month, Republican lawmakers criticized Google during the Senate Judiciary Committee hearing over allegations of bias against the censorship of conservative groups on the tech giant's platforms. Google's control over what people hear, watch, read, and say is unprecedented, Senator Ted Cruz from Texas, the chair of the Senate Judiciary Committee, said. Google can and often does control our discourse. Cruz added, the American people are subject to overt censorship and covert manipulation by Google's algorithm. You want to hear something really weird? He's like one of the youngest people in Congress. I think he, like, outside of, no, he's in the Senate. I think he's the youngest person in the Senate. So, yikes. Google's Vice President of Global Government Affairs and Public Policy, Karen Bahata, defended the tech giant, arguing that the company has no political bias and does not monitor content posted on its platforms. Bahata noted that the company does censor or take down some content, but denied that there was any political motivation behind that. But the deal is that the Project Veritas stuff has really exposed Google. If you're not familiar, I suggest you punch in Project Veritas and search them, because they've had a lot of undercover stings and operations dealing with the people from Google. They've released documents as well as video of people at Google crying when Hillary Clinton lost and sitting there devising ways to determine that, hey, we got to make sure this election goes in the direction that we want it to go. And so, yeah, this is complete nonsense that comes from Google. We work hard to fix our mistakes, Bahata said, but these mistakes have affected both parties and not a product of bias, but one far more than the other. Let's be real here. If we're trying to be fair, one far more than the other. He added, we are not censoring speech on our platforms. We do have community guidelines against uploading, for example, videos that have violent imagery. In 2018, the Daily Caller published an article asserting that Google almost exclusively targets conservative sites for fact-checking, and in the process often erroneously attributes statements to the conservative sites. Others blamed a software bug for the problem. Yeah, they keep saying that it's in the programming, and there's an issue with the programming, but the thing I know about programming is that somebody got to punch it in. I mean, come on, let's be real here. That's one of the reasons having such an older class of people deal with these scenarios is folly, because it's magic, it's wizardry to them. But to those of us who grew up as tech was really taking apart and taking hold, yeah, we know all about motherboards, circuit boards, and basically in order for the mechanisms to work, they have to be programmed to work. A computer's only as good as its programming, and apparently so are some people. Some researchers have alleged anti-conservative biases in Google search results. A leaked video of top Google executives conducting a company-wide meeting after the 2016 election showed them tearfully lamenting the results of the race, which would send Trump to the White House. A second volume of the report examining the Intelligence Community Assessment, ICA, of Russian interference, the Obama's administration response to Russian interference, the role of social media's disinformation campaigns, and remaining counterintelligence questions is expected to be released in fall 2019, pending a declassification review. And that's the end of the article. Hillary Vaughn and Andrew O'Reilly, thanks for the contributions. But as you can see, there is a lot going on when it comes to the internet and those who have the most control over it. And it'd be nice if Bing got their crap together, maybe rebranded and went out there again, gave it another shot. I suggest all these other iOSs and Firefoxes of the world, rebrand and just give it another shot as far as the public goes, because right now it's like the tension against Google is rather high, and there's a ton of other sites that are trying to replace the Twitters and Facebooks, but let's be real, we don't live in those times anymore, and what's been set in has been set in. So we'll see where everything goes, but I'm just excited and happy for Tulsi. It's 50 million that she's going after, and honestly, she deserves every single cent of it, because they more than likely cost her at least that in donations. Because when people hear her speak and hear what she has to say, damn it, if she ain't on point, to a point where she's to be taken seriously, unlike a lot of her counterparts on that stage with her. So, with that being said, we're going to bring this one to an end. All the internet stuff. If you liked it, toss it a like. Dislike it, go ahead. I ain't scared. Sub if you enjoy my fantastic voice and you want to get videos like this every single day. Share, because sharing is caring, and YouTube's definitely not Google, YouTube. I mean, come on, let's be real. There's a reason my channel isn't like booming, but I like to think that we're doing well. I appreciate each and every one of you that drops a view, a like, a dislike. It doesn't really matter. I enjoy the discourse. And speak. Let me know what you think in the comments. Is this a good smooth move for her? Does this give you even more respect for her, that she's willing to stand up for herself and her campaign? Because I gotta say, that's what it's doing for me, Hey, this is wrong, this is nonsense, cut it out. Let me know what you think in the comments, and until the next one.